What up, y'all? And welcome to another episode of the Pastrybear podcast. And today, I got a very special guest.
I grew up in the mountains of Jamaica. As a firstborn, you have to learn to wash, cook, and clean. I was cooking family dinners at age 6 for the whole family, like massive spread. I wanted to take it to the next level. So I ended up cooking and cooking and non-stop cooking. I was chosen 3 years in a row as the best Caribbean chef in the world.
So, Collin, what's going on?
Blood. Manners and respect.
Manners and respect. Yo, it's been a while, man. It's been a while since we, I had a conversation or sit down like this, because we talk on the phone regular, but just to have a sit down like this is gonna be a wonderful thing. So how's everything going on over there?
Well, we're enjoying the lockdown, putting on some weight,
and just to let everybody know, Collin is in London. That's why you're London, right?
London, yeah, I'm in London now.
London. What time it is over in London?
Oh, it's about 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. We was just talking off camera, and I realized it's still like daylight out there. So I don't understand why it's 9 and the sun seems like it's still out.
Well, it's happening in Europe in the summer,
that's how it is.
Yeah, the night is afraid of people here.
Yeah, but guys, Collin has been a big part of my growth and a big part of my transition into the new person that I've become. Collin is one of them people that I look up to. He's more of a mentor to me, and I wanted to sit down so the world should know about Collin. You know what I mean? And I want him to, give a little bit of insight on his life and how he got started into the culinary industry, and just some of the accolades that he got over the years. So Collin, I was reading some stuff on you earlier. Even though we've been friends for damn near almost probably like 6-7 years, I still not realize how much awards you have. You know what I mean? The list is so long, it's extensive, and I as a Caribbean person, you know what I mean, you're not expecting a Jamaican chef to have all of these accolades. You know what I mean? So what was the reason why you decided that you wanted to become a chef?
Well, you're from Jamaica, so maybe you relate to this very well. When you're first born in Jamaica, especially where I grew up,
right?
Basically, you have to learn to wash, cook, and clean. That comes as standard, right? And then you hope to God the next child is a girl, so give you a little break.
Right.
Unfortunate for me, I have 2 brothers after me, so basically I was a girl for a very long time.
Oh my God!
So by the time I was 6 years old, I was cooking dinner for the whole family.
Right.
Like Sunday dinner, everything, like 6-year-old. The funniest thing is I never know my parents could go to prison if I wasn't living in England.
Right. That's definitely child abuse. At 6, I don't think at 6 you can probably hold a knife properly. But
you should never be around. But the thing is, the lucky thing is we never have stove. So basically, it was all wood fire and stuff like
So you was cooking on the outside on like a grill type of vibe, right?
Yes. No grill.
Right.
Caveman stuff, like
caveman style.
Respect, and you cannot burn your grandmother rice, because this is a problem.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think people who can cook on a cold stove are like remarkable, because you can't turn the heat down. It's not like a stove where you boil the rice and then when it starts to dry out, you can turn the temperature. Yeah, you can't do that. So it's like you can't gauge. You know what I mean?
Rachel, let me tell you something. Listen, you see all the baking? Blood. If I tell you right now, I can make the same dessert you see in a pastry shop. Right. I can make it outside on a wood fire.
Man.
You look at me like, Rachel, you're smoking rum.
That is pretty. I've never actually made any dessert outside of a oven. I've seen like the sweet potato pudding that they make back home, right? My grandmother always tell me like they put the fire on the top and the fire on the bottom. But I can't understand how just putting a little bit of coal on top of the pot gonna cook the thing from the other side. It just don't add up to me. You know what I mean?
I'm going to have to educate you. I'm going to invoice you still, but no worries. No, listen. Any dessert, like, look, after they finish this lockdown,
right?
Yeah, I'm going to come see your brother.
Right.
And I hope we don't go to prison, but we're going to find a place where we can make this food like outside.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
And we're going to make this food outside. We witness literally your techniques, my techniques, and this all time cooking.
Right.
And I'm telling you, the flavor you're going to get from it, you're going to be wondering, how is it possible?
I've had some. I think I've had like fried chicken and rice and peas way back in the days when somebody cooked it outside. But I didn't grow up. You know, my mom never really did that. The only thing we used to cook on the cold stove is like roast breadfruit. It's not even. You know what I mean? No, it's crazy. But the only thing we used to cook on the cold stove, my grandmother always used to make the dog food, which, you know, is like cornmeal. You know what I mean? Like polenta she used to make for the dogs. But that's the only thing. And roast breadfruit. That's the only thing.
You see how rude you is? You give me dog polenta. I spent so much time in Italy. I go to the Virgin. I spent a lot of time in Tuscany, right?
Right.
My friend have about 5 chateaux. Virgin. These men is telling me, oh, they want me to taste this thing. I'm like, okay. But and look, for the record, the best meal I ever eat in my life is in Tuscany. I couldn't understand. In Italy. I could never understand how the hell you make flour taste like this, brother.
Right.
Until today, I cannot get
so what was they making?
I don't know. But he give me one for main course and I said, I don't want no dessert. Give me another one. All I said, he said, you know, chef, I want to teach you to make it. I said, no, you're not going to spoil this for me. Whenever I come see you, this is what I need.
Right. And he just gonna make it for you.
Brother, let me tell you something. But then he started to introduce me to polenta and stuff like that. I'm like, Reggie, I know this, you know. And you know what the funniest thing is? I travel a lot, especially Europe. Excuse me. A lot of countries, you know.
Right.
And the one thing I learned, so much of the cooking is so similar to what we do.
Yeah. I've seen that too. I've seen that too.
When I went to Hungary, when I go to Hungary, yeah, and they tell me, oh, you're gonna get some goulash and stuff, and so I went to Slovakia and it's goulash. Brother, it's stew beef.
Stew beef. They just have it a name. What they call it? Huh? They call it what? Goulash.
Goulash.
Oh, goulash.
Right. It's the same when we make stew beef. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember me and my wife was driving to East Slovakia. So we drive from Bratislava. Like, we're talking about nearly 8 hours of driving through Europe. And her dad is like military man, you know. So he said, listen, there's some dish he want me to try. And my wife was like, oh, no, man, you would never eat this kind of stuff. It's disgusting. It's the intestine of an animal and all kind of stuff. And I'm like, but this place is so popular. It's like a plane, like a Boeing or something plane.
Right.
They make it into a restaurant inside the plane.
Oh, they made the plane into a restaurant?
Virgin. Let me tell you something. That country is beautiful. And we go and eat this thing. I swear to you. You know what it is? Tripe and bean.
Tripe and bean. You know, I had a conversation about that same thing the other day, you know, because I don't even think nobody cooks that no more. It's like non-existent in the culture anymore. Like if you go to Jamaica, the main thing, that's one of the things I don't really understand. Like when you step outside of Jamaica, you're seeing that people are embracing their culture. But when you go to Jamaica, it's like, okay, we're gonna do some pizza. We're gonna do pasta Alfredo.
Pasta from the packet as well.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And it's crazy. And it's the same thing I experienced. Like even African culture. I was doing some research on it the other day, and I realized they have the same thing that we're eating, the same thing they doing. Spanish, they do the ceviche. We do the what you call it? What you call that thing again? Escovitch.
Escovitch, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's similar when you go around the world and see most of the food is the same thing.
I'm going to explain something to you. And let me break down Jamaican cuisine for you because people don't really understand it. And I think this is why Jamaica, in the culinary world, Jamaica is
lacking
at the back.
Right.
They are literally at the back. Because this is the only country in the world that can have at least 5 national dish. 100%. The national dish, where I'm living in England, the national dish is fish and chips. Come on, man. I don't want to disrespect you, but, you know, look, we have ackee and saltfish, yeah?
Right.
Which they say is the national dish, but deep down, it's fried chicken and rice and peas.
Fried chicken. Because they eat more than anything.
Look, let me tell you, go to New Kingston, everybody from them top office heading down to get them fried chicken, rice and peas. It's standard. That sell more than anything else in the country. You know, so they don't understand the meaning of national dish.
Exactly.
You know, and then you have jerk chicken, the pan chicken. That you know, I mean,
you're right about that. You're right about that.
I'm telling you. So for a country with such rich food culture, right?
Right.
How is this possible? You know, and you have to blame the whole government setup of the whole country.
Right.
Listen, all right, let me explain this food, because I don't think even they know where it's from, because I studied this thing, you know.
Right.
And I'm going to take it back up to 1,000 years right now, right? Or more. I'm who I am. Let me explain who I am to you. I'm 6th generation slave. I'm from my great grandparents, great grandparents are from the slave background, right? And I will explain this in detail to you. Trelawny. So I don't know. I'm direct descendant of Kojo from the Maroon.
Right.
That's Mr. Trelawny himself. You understand? You should look this up when you're done.
Right. I'm going to look it up.
Nani is from Portland.
Right.
So Nani and Kojo is brother and sister.
Oh, really?
From Maroon Town. You know?
I know Moore Town. Yeah.
Yeah. So they are brothers and sister. So Nani run that side, Kojo run this side. You understand what I'm trying to show you?
Okay.
Now, let me explain how this food reached the Caribbean. The first set of people in the island was the Awawak Indian. The Taínos, the Awawak, and they have the Siboney Indian, where them and the Awawak always fighting. So these Indians, they more venture out to Cuba, that side.
Right.
You know? So the first set of people was Indian, like, you know, what you call it, the native Indian, like, you know what I mean? Then Christopher Columbus come over, but he reckon he come and discover this place.
Yeah, so he said.
Yeah. They always discover something. But, you know, anyway, when he come on the island, the Asian already have the spices that they use.
Right.
Pimento. You come and see them using pimento. They use the ripe bean for anesthetic. So if they get cut any bruise or anything, they will put the ripe pimento bean, put on it to stop it from infecting. Because
really?
Your body, brother, let me explain this. I'm going to break this thing down to you.
I'm learning today. The
ripe bean have so much.
And you're talking about the pimento
ripe pimento.
So you're saying the ripe pimento, they used to use the ripe ones and they put it on cuts to make it not get infected.
Yes, to stop it from infecting. And that's what they use. Remember your grandmother used to use to make pimento wine. I don't know if your people, because of the portion on
They call it what? Pimento what? Wipe?
Pimento wine.
Oh, wine, yeah. Listen, I made that before, you know. And I had a pimento bean, I got drunk from it too, because I was.
I get some portion. It's like on manners. Now we're talking.
I did make some pimento wine. Yeah, I know what's going on.
You know how potent that is.
Yeah, it's very strong.
So that bean is what they used to use for anesthetic. Now, Columbus and his conquerors was so blown away by this bean, because the same bean they dry it and use it for cook.
Right. Multi-purpose.
Listen to the name, pimiento. It's Spanish. That word alone is Spanish. Pimiento.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to show you? All right. Now, jerk is a Spanish bring jerk to the Caribbean. A lot of people will be like, oh no, you don't know what you're saying. Brother, we know exactly what I'm telling you. You see what I'm saying? Because if you look for us to look now, the style of cooking that Spain do is mostly grilling, barbecue, this, that, like. How come these indigenous people know how to do this?
Right.
They used to cook under the ground, you know what I mean? This kind of cooking. You understand what I'm trying to do?
Right.
So now this, by Christopher Columbus bringing his armada down to bring this kind of cooking, he used the spices that the Indian used. Hence, we start with jerk. You understand what I'm trying to show you?
Right.
Spanish doesn't like pepper. They don't like anything. So it was just like the pimento flavor and all that stuff, yeah?
Right.
All right. Then the Spanish bring escovitch fish. It was the Spanish Jews who bring that, like, you know, the Jews, because they like this kind of
pickled stuff and tangy food.
You understand what I'm saying? Now, the British now, well, they get some people they get some gun, go to Ghana and swap for people.
Right.
Obviously. And pack up the ship, head out to Jamaica. And I will tell you why Jamaica now so the most resilient people ever make. like they pack up these ship with so many people, and they have to bring food because basically Columbus couldn't get nobody to fund his trip.
Right.
You know, so basically it was after this when they realized after they learned about the sugar and they want to make a sugar plantation because they went to China and discovered tea, so they already did control India, so they're growing the tea in India, so they want the sugar. So that's when Columbus said, well, he find this place, you know, in the West Indies, but they don't think it was India.
Oh, they thought it was India.
Yeah, so they call it, that's why it's called West India. It's type of people with very bad sat nav. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm just trying to narrow it down quickly. I could write you a book at this.
Yeah, I'm interested, man. I'm trying to learn. So go ahead, keep talking.
Let me tell you something. Now the British bringing over people on the ship to grow the sugar, so they can make their tea and then the rum and stuff. In the middle of the ocean, they realize too much people is on board. They start to people over. Now, remember, Jamaicans are Ghanaians, kind of. They're from that kind of background. They're
right.
Decent, cool, calm people. You know, for these people to get so wicked, something have to happen.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So imagine me and your brother, you see me, you have to watch them throw me overboard in the middle of the ocean because of some stupidness. You know, you can imagine. This level of your blood boiling, basically.
Yeah, you're pretty much going to be angry about that.
100%, that's what happened. Now, when they reach the Caribbean now, they realize they shot the slave. Right. So, you know, the raping and this stuff start. But long and short is, we don't have to go into that bit. Because, you know, but you don't want to talk about it.
Let's the food side.
Let's go on to the food side. So basically, they bring things like ackee, the yams. That's what the guys used to eat in Africa. So they have to bring food that they can grow there.
Oh, because so the Africans brought those stuff to Jamaica. Yeah. Right.
So the African bring the yams, the potato, sweet potato, and the dasheen and all them kind of different, all them food that grow on the earth. And they bring breadfruit and stuff like, you know, listen to the name, bread, fruit. Obviously, they couldn't bake enough bread to feed people. But if you're going to have slaves, first thing you're going to think of what they're going to eat. Right. But you understand what I mean? So that's where the food comes in, right? So therefore, so you have the British come now with their influence now, right? They changed the pimento now to allspice because they say it tastes like allspice.
Oh, because it does actually have the flavor of it smells and it. I wouldn't say taste, but it smells like majority of the spices, right?
That's why it's called allspice.
Right.
Now they start to grow the stuff. Then you have the Chinese come over and they bring their influence, right? So basically, you have the Chinese, the British, the Spanish, you know, and the African influence,
right?
You know
which is what's building this culture.
Exactly.
Right.
Now the reason why the food become a Jamaican foods and synonymous to black people is because our parents, well, your parents posh, my parents, they were the slaves.
Right.
You know? So we have to take all these culture food and put in one food. You understand what I'm trying to do?
Right. And
now,
just to create
you ever wonder why when you cook, everybody likes food and don't know why?
That's true.
Because they can relate to it in some way, somehow.
Right. And it's damn near almost the same thing as what they call soul food. Because it's being cooked from the soul, you know what I mean?
That's what's up.
Right.
Brother, let me tell you something. The ackee and saltfish, the national dish. Saltfish is salted cod.
Right.
The national dish of England is cod and chips. So basically,
there you go.
They dry the codfish, so stop it from going off. So it's salted cod until it dry. You know when you smoke stuff and like in the sun to dry. So that's where the saltfish come from.
So let me ask you something. So you're saying that, and this may sound, you know, off, but I didn't know that. You're saying that the fish and chips is codfish they use in England? Oh.
The fresh cod.
Oh, okay. See, I'm learning something. I like to learn, you know, because this is what's going to
bring. Your invoice is coming. Trust me.
Just send it to my email.
You don't want to meet my wife. My wife is debt collector. Right?
Oh yeah, she gonna make sure the money comes in. But wow, I really didn't know that. Because you know, when you're cooking, you know, everybody after a while things get tainted with, you know, and it gets diluted. So. You know, it may start off with cod over there, and by the time it reaches to where I'm at, it's something else, you know, because people are going to find the cheapest fish or you know what I mean? So that's interesting to find out. And I also too believe that the food of Jamaica is like, it's so marketable. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know how to market it. They don't know how to put themselves in a position to make the food, you know, great enough to be put in a restaurant setting where you can go and sit down and order 3-4 appetizers of Jamaican stuff. You know what I mean? And that's a conversation I had all the time. And this is why I like talking to you and other chefs that are seeing the food on a broader perspective, because I would love to see the culture, the food culture grow. You know what I mean? I want to see more chefs taking over the world and not cooking American food, because some people say, "Oh, I'm Jamaican. I'm a Jamaican chef," but they're not cooking Jamaican food.
I only cook Jamaican food. I don't know if you know this. Like
I know this.
It's modernized, because like, listen, as I said to you, look, you cannot be like, there's some people like, "Oh yeah, I'm a better chef than you and this and this and this." I cannot be a better chef than you. No, I cannot be a better chef than any chef, because how you define a good chef or a chef that's doing this thing is your region. It's what you grow in your region, where you grow up eating. Right. So basically, my job is to educate you and my region, not to be like, "Oh, I'm a better chef."
I'm the better chef, right?
Technically, you can have better techniques, right? But that doesn't make you a better chef.
Better chef, no.
And say I'm a better chef, it's somewhere where you never get out of my mouth. You know what I mean?
Right. Because and I never heard you talk like that before, so you know what I mean?
No. That's why I never talk like that. And if you know, and if you're gonna make stuff that the French and the British make exactly how they make it, you cannot beat them at their own game. No. What you're gonna have to do.
And you were, like, I talk this all the time, you were one of the person that opened my eyes to this concept, because at first, like I said, working in the industry for how many years I've been now, sometimes you're cooking and then you think you're at the epitome, you're at that peak of where, like, okay, I know what I'm doing, you know, I'm the top dog, and then you step out and you realize, okay, there's more ingredients that you have no clue what they are. Exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. When I moved to America, I learned about so many ingredients that I've never heard in my life, and it's just crazy. Like, sometimes when I just came here and I was working in the kitchen, somebody said, "Oh, go get this." And I was like, "What is that?" I never heard that in my life. And it's simple stuff, and it's regular to them because it's a part of their culture. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when you about 4 or 5 years ago, when you told me this, like, "Yo, don't try to compete or cook what you don't know how to cook. Cook what you know how to cook." And I was like, what is he talking about? You can't be a chef and not learn to cook everything. You know what I mean? I think I was thinking that, you know, this is what they teach you too. If in order for you to become a great chef, you have to know how to cook every cuisine. But why? Like, most of these top chefs are not trying to cook everybody's cuisine. No. They have their own cuisine, their own cultural food, and they elevate it to the highest level they can.
Now you understand what's up.
Yeah, now, and I got it.
If you decide, right, how can I change Jamaican food? How can I make this food, like, compete with what's going on in the world? Right. You understand? This is how I think. You know, this is why you was asking me about them awards. I don't even remember some of them. Right. You know, I get one from the United Nations, like UN, because of this is the indigenous food. You're talking about this food from history, you know? Mm-hmm. And the funniest thing is, this food, what we neglect so much, is the food that everybody wants right now. Right. Because everybody is watching their weight, everybody's watching cholesterol and this and this. And I'm telling you, now I'm going to give you the nutrition of this food. I'm going to break this down, because this is the part people don't understand. Mm-hmm. You remember when you was growing up? How many times did you see your grandmother go to the doctor? No.
Nah, she didn't really go to. I got a grandmother right now in Clarendon, and she like probably 85, and she's perfect. She's perfect. Doctors. Like, I called my mom the other day. I was like, "How's Granny doing?" And she said, "Oh, she good." They gave her medication. She don't even take them.
There's no point. Why do you need it for what?
Exactly. And she's eating like how she used to. Like, when they see her, she looks the same as she looked when I was 13 and 14, and I'm over 30 now. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, this is crazy to think that, you know what I mean, you can actually be living so many years by just eating the food out of your culture. You know what I mean? So that is very, very important to know. And some people really don't get to experience that. You understand what I'm saying? But I love it, man. I love the fact that some of these people never have to go to the doctor because of the food they eat.
And the funniest thing right now, because I can break things down for you, like nutrition wise. Literally, you can tell me what sickness you have right now, and I can tell you exactly what to eat.
Oh yeah, because food is life. Food is, and that's what a lot of the doctors now are doing. They call themselves holistic people, but then they put name to certain things. My God, it's your God-given right to eat healthy. So don't call yourself doctor and talk about your holistic. That means everybody in my country is holistic. Exactly, and that
when
was.
I grow up, if you go Trelawny, because look, we don't have a supermarket down here because it's not relevant to our work. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, people will be like, how can you live in a town without a supermarket? We don't need one. Why? We grow everything. You understand what I'm trying to show you?
Right.
If I was in like a parliament or anything, literally they would kill me because I would be one of the meanest dictators. Everybody would have to dig up their front yard and grow carrots.
And plant something. You got to plant something.
Bridget, what's the point of having a gardener? Pay your gardener to come water your lawn.
And plant grass.
And plant grass. It's the stupidest thing. It's like putting on a bulletproof vest and shoot yourself in the head. It does not make sense. Come on. And then you go to work and beg your boss, oh man, can you give me a raise? The money is not enough to cover my bills. Obviously. Because if you have your gardener plowing this place, planting some vegetables, right? Where you can actually sell back some to pay the money and whatever. Right?
Exactly.
Common sense is not a very common thing. I understand this in the world, but literally, why would you want to do this? If you can afford a gardener, that means you're good. Once you have a piece of land that can grow stuff, you're good.
But and that's true. Why would you pay somebody to come and water flowers and grass, which has no benefit to you financially? Well, it may have something, mentally, but I don't understand that either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it has something mentally. Mentally, you're mad. You understand? Massive land.
Oh my God, you are something else, yeah. But it makes no sense for real though, Collin. And like I said, I realize now a lot of people are chasing the healthy lifestyle, as they call it, or vegan or vegetarian lifestyle. And this was something that was frowned upon back in the days. Like when, I remember when the Rastafarians were, doing their thing, people used to, criticize them and say all type of stupid things about them. But now everybody running. I remember I used to have this Rastaman where I used to live, and he used to run over the hill every day. None of us was doing that. Now you go to Jamaica, everybody running, everybody working out.
4 o'clock in the morning, you have to make sure you have your hazard light like this because people might run in your vehicle.
Everybody living healthy, man.
It's like, what the heck?
And one of the things that drives me crazy, and I don't want to sound perfect or nothing, but like these same holistic people or vegan or vegetarian, they say they're eating healthy, right? And my understanding of you have to eat something. If let's say you have a garden, that's the best way to eat healthy. Because if you buy lettuce and tomato that comes from America or wherever else outside of Jamaica, by the time if they pick it, sometimes it's like 20 days before it gets to Jamaica, And by the time it gets there and get in the fridge, they lost all the nutrients. I see people down there focusing on kale. You know what I mean? They focusing on mushroom. These are the type of and I'm like, why nobody eating callaloo? You know what I mean? You have wild callaloo that just grows on its own.
Nothing. No, you don't need nothing. Like, let me tell you something. There's a bush in Jamaica called the leaf of life.
Leaf of life, right?
All you got to do is either you're gonna blend this juice and drink it, or you can steam it just like we steam cabbage. Let me tell you something. Regardless of what kind of sickness they throw in your body, listen, the sickness cannot live with this thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You see the cannabis oil everybody used to knock and talk about grandmother. Collin, do not smoke weed, do it on crop.
Right.
Let me tell you something. In the 1930s, my friend, they used to give kids, baby, weed oil for teething. How is that? Like, man, listen, I'm old school. Like, right. I'm from the slave background. I didn't go to school to learn to cook. This was handed down to me.
Really? So you never went to a school to cook? Never went to like a culinary school?
Why? My grandmother told me it's a joke. She said, like, the minute you go to school, you will only as good as a teacher. The minute you feel like you are as good as a teacher, you stop. So basically, and she said, like, I wasn't very decent when I was growing up either years. You know, like, I don't want to say nothing much because,
Yeah.
Right,
I understand. But you know, some people,
you know?
some people would look at, go on your Instagram or some people may have had some of your food and they probably thought that, you've been trained, being that you've been living in London for so long, you've been trained by a French chef to make why the reason you cook the way you cook. So you're not influenced by, you've never been taught by a French, or you've never worked in a Michelin star restaurant or none of that?
No.
So most of the stuff that you know is just you teaching yourself. And some of the stuff that is handed down to, because flavor is something that you inherit. You know what I mean? I feel like it's
something
inherent.
that you inherit. That's all.
Right.
Now you're talking.
Right.
There is no one on this planet can make a brown stew better than a Jamaican because of the chicken back.
Right.
We can cook chicken back to that T.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to embrace what you know. Like, how do you make chicken back the most perfect? And imagine removing the chicken back.
Hold on a second. You just said that now, and I'm thinking to myself, is somebody gonna listen to this and be like, "What is this guy talking about? How can you make chicken back into something elegant? He's crazy." What would you think about that? Because you're talking about chicken back. You didn't say chicken breasts. You're not saying chicken thighs. The back, the scraps, the part that nobody wants to eat.
That's what they throw away. That's what they used to, like the masters used to throw away these bones. The bones from the cow, the bones from the goat, the bones from the chicken, and they give it to the slave. This is what they use to make food. Now, my foreparents take this and turn it into the most glamorous dish and had vegetables to it. Mm-hmm. When you go to New York and you see everybody line up in the queue waiting for bone broth, what do you think that is? Huh?
Yeah.
The chicken back water and all that. You understand? Because apparently it's good. That's what bone broth is from. That's where it's from. Cooking everything down for hours and hours and hours to remove all this the bone marrow and everything from it. Right. This is what they used to give to slaves. You see them big like this. Where do you think they get this from? That diet and that hard work together. Right. People go to New York and they buy the glass of bone broth and go to the gym.
Yes, and then work out.
Yeah. Understand? Same shit. Different day, You know what I mean? I'm just trying to show you like how things just go around. You know what I mean? So basically, we are ahead in every way. You understand what I'm trying to show you? The only problem I'm having is I would love an environment where I could do this up to the level where I would love to do it. It's not about money. It's about me. I would love to see how far I could take this. You know what I mean? Right. Because I don't even scratch the surface of where I can go. A lot of people, like, you look at, like, I'm not even 50% there. I'm about 25% where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And people will look and say, "Oh man, but you have this award." And it doesn't matter, my friend. That's just people like feel good and give you something. You understand what I'm saying? Right. You not until what you do start to affect people's life. That's when you start really achieving. You understand what I'm trying to show you?
Exactly.
What you do change people's life. You know what I mean? Like, you're explaining things where people start to live better. Because now people don't know. Like, let me explain what's going on with people right now. You know, I'm gonna put it in a way where, like, modern day people think. Right. Everybody right now, if you ask them what kind of luxury car you would want, man, I would do well with a Rolls Royce. You know. Me personally, if I have the money, I will give you a Rolls Royce, and I tell you, put gas in it. You're not going to drive up to the petrol station and put diesel in it, right? No. But that's what we do as human. Right. Our body is a Rolls Royce. And what we put in it? Burger. Chips. Yeah. It's like,
it's the worst of the worst.
And then it breaks down because the wrong fuel is going into the car. You know? And then you complain, "Oh, boy, I can't stand up board. I can't." It's a dog. That's what's going to happen. It's
because of the stuff that you're having. Right.
I mean? So basically, you have to consider yourself like this. That's why I said I would love to be in a position where I can explain, like, look, I'm no holistic madness and all this madness. Okay? It's your God-given right to know certain things.
And we're losing that. Like you said today, the leaf of life. You said the tree of life, right? I've heard the name. I think I saw it one time. I think I saw it, but I didn't see it in Jamaica. I learned of it when
in the backyard. You just never take use of it.
You know, another thing that I realized is very popular, and even here in America, they spray a pesticide on it, this one that's a yellow flower. Oh man, I just remember the name of it, you know. It's a yellow flower. It almost looks like sunflower, but it's really small. I think dandelion.
Oh yeah, dandelion. Yeah.
Dandelion. And they spray that thing with pesticide and kill it. And that thing is very powerful. But then it's like, for instance, I see somebody, they buy the food, they eat the food, and then they go to the vitamin store and buy the vitamins. So why are you eating the food? You know what I mean? You're buying all of this food, spending $200-$300 a month to buy food, and then the doctor tells you need this vitamin or you need this mineral, and you still got to go back to the store and buy it. So it's like it defeats the whole purpose of eating. You know what I mean? And I personally, when I was growing up, I didn't understand these things. You know what I mean? I didn't understand that you eat for a purpose. You know what I mean? We just eating because they gave you food.
Because you're full of.
Right? Yeah.
Basically, your nutrients. Like, listen, my friend. Let me explain this to you. There's one called Rambo National. That's good for anything to do with fertility, menstruation, whatever. That's what for the ladies or whatever.
Right.
For man is they're kind of impotent or whatever. These are the things you get. You understand? For any other thing else, it's a leaf of life.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying to you? Iron. You need 100% iron come from Irish moss. Sea moss, anything like that. You go from that, anything like, you know. So basically, you can, we drink Irish moss in Jamaica.
Right.
Man tell us, we drink Irish moss. We chug it up, lad.
It's strong like a lion.
Yeah, man. Then get running from me. But it's like the iron you get from that is supports anything you could ever get in any shop, any pharmacy, any.
Right.
You can eat, after you drink the juice, the trash away always throw it. You need to blend that up and keep it in your fridge. If you make a smoothie, you just put a spoon of it in the smoothie. So you're constantly.
And this is the Irish moss.
Yeah.
And growing up, I used to hear this man that walks around and he's like, "Oh, Irish moss, linseed." I didn't know what he was talking about today. When I found out that was probably like a good 3 years ago, I found out what Irish moss was. They used to have this can one.
You live in a Portland where you live in a sea.
But that's what I'm saying. Nobody ever told me about that. I used to hear the guy walking by every day, but I don't know what he's saying. He's selling Irish moss and linseed. You know what I mean? But now I realize it's a big deal. Everybody wants Irish moss.
Massive.
Everybody's eating it right now.
See,
even this other thing called moringa.
Oh God, I have them in my house.
I got some in my backyard too, and I'm scared. Somebody told me about it one day, and I'm like, okay, what this thing is? And he said, yo, it's everywhere. If you go outside, chances are you're going to see a tree somewhere. And I'm like, okay. So I Googled it. And I'm realizing this is something that I know. I went to a farm the other day, Collin, and I saw a black pepper tree for the first time. And I thought about it, and I was cutting them stuff down in Jamaica when I was young. I used to cut them down.
Chop them because it's too much bush.
I didn't know what it was. You know what I mean? You imagine this. You growing up with black pepper growing in your backyard and you chop it down and buy it in the store. I didn't know what it was. I did not know.
You know the anato?
Yeah. I know anato. I didn't know what it. I didn't know that. I recently. You the one that told me about that. Yeah. And then I went to Dominican Republic and I went on a farm and they were showing us, like the plant itself, because I never saw it, like just picking it from a tree. I always saw it in the box.
Your invoice gonna be big, blood.
No, let me tell you something, Collin. This is crazy to know that you have all of these things. All right, this is another thing that I learned the other day. Right, back in the days when I was going to school, they used to have a factory next to us that make molasses. They don't do that no more. Where I used to go to school, you used to smell it when they making the molasses, right? And we grew up making brown stew chicken and putting browning on there. But I remember a couple of times my mom was making it. She would put brown sugar in the pot and let it burn, and then she put the meat in there. You know what I mean? But nobody's doing those stuff anymore. You know what I mean?
Molasses is very good for you. All these things are like amazingly good for you. You see, like everybody going to the gym now and they go and get the protein shake.
Right.
That's the worst thing you can put in your bloody body.
Yes. Yep.
You need like, listen to the breadfruit. You see the breadfruit? I know they put it in the can and all kind of stuff. But let me tell you something. Just get the whole breadfruit. Don't peel it. Just drop it in a pot of water and boil it.
I did that the other day when you told me about it. I boiled one the other day.
And then you can fry it like chips. No?
Yes.
But when you cook, just blend some, right? And you're going to use some agave nectar or for sweetening.
Right.
Honey depends on what you decide you want to use.
Right.
But you're going to use almond milk, coconut milk,
Yeah.
to blend it. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You put fresh cinnamon, fresh vanilla. You know, and a bit of salt because remember it's raw ingredients, you have to use salt. Basically.
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? Brother, I swear to God. You blend that.
But
You wake up in the
again,
morning.
you are telling us these things, and I'm saying there's a lot of people still out there that don't know. Like most people are only eating breadfruit roast or fry.
But then
But
you
if-
take away all the nutrients from it, you see.
You know what I mean?
Understand the level of where you're getting from it. Because when you have a glass of breadfruit punch, right?
Mm-hmm.
You literally can wake up in the morning, have a cup of tea, have a glass of breadfruit punch, and you don't need another meal until 3:30.
Right, because you stay filled.
That I'm telling you, this is a solid meal that goes straight to where it's supposed to go. And all you need now is just water to hydrate your body. Let me tell you something, brother. If you go to the gym and decide to start pump stuff, they will have to take you up the gym. Now listen, I think
You say you're gonna bulk up. You're gonna bulk up real quick.
Let me tell you something. Because like that energy it gives you, like, you know, it's that basically the nutrients you get going to the right place where it's supposed to be. You understand what I'm trying to show you?
Right.
This is what we're lacking because we're eating so much stuff and it has no relevance whatsoever. The world is struggling to feed the population.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And you know, I love your country very much where you are, but I don't really come here because I know the problem where like the modified stuff. I'm not a fan, you know.
Right. It's pretty difficult, man.
Yeah. I cannot like when I spent when I went to Hollywood to film something with you know, the show.
Right.
Oh
yeah,
now.
we got to talk about that too, man, because you know we talking about.
That's not what that them things is not me though, murder.
Yeah, but still, we want people to understand that, you know, because sometimes I realize that people associate information or status, I mean, like respect to a status, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just a regular average Joe, just talking about stuff, nobody gonna look at it, because then when you show them that you have some accolades, you have some, you know, you have some substance to you, then they start paying attention. But we still can't go over the fact that as a Jamaican, you were on a great show with great chefs, the final table. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That's a big step. I know it's not a big deal to you, but it's a big deal for me and a lot more other people to see. No, I'm serious, but to see, because look at me. I'm going to say it. You were the only black person on the on there. You know what I mean? Imagine Netflix, guys, you could check it out. Final table on Netflix. He was the only black person on there. And it's not about race or nothing, but I'm just highlighting the fact that a Jamaican can come from Trelawny and find his way to London, to Italy, to Europe, to Dubai, because you were in Dubai for like a year last year or 2 years ago, I think. And you know, these are stuff that I the reason why I'm talking about, because I want people to understand that you can achieve the utmost of what you can imagine. You know what I mean? It don't matter where you're from. It don't matter how you start. It's about how you finish. And you're an example of that. You know what I mean? Like I said, coming from Trelawny, you don't really have professional training, and you are at
from a school in my life, bro.
Exactly, and you are at the level. You are at a level where, if you think about it, a lot of chefs that have been to school never been to your level. Like you cook on a level where it is like, what would you call it now? Like some Michelin star, some fine dine. You know what I mean? World class cooking. You know, you're changing the whole dynamic of the food culture of Jamaica. That's what I feel. I feel like you are the modern day Escoffier. You know what I mean?
Man.
Nah, man. For real. Like I tell people all the time, and I'm not afraid to say it. You were one of the people who showed me how to find myself and find my lane. And I found my lane, and ain't nobody taking me out of that. You know what I mean? Man. Oh no, they got to get a bulldozer because I'm big. I'm gonna sit right down.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
That's
like I'm telling you, man, like I really respect you, because you told me a couple of things when I met you. And the first time I met you, I was like, what the hell? Who the hell is this guy you walking around like you think he's somebody? You know what I mean? I remember the first time I met you, I had to make a tasting menu. I don't know why they made me do that, but I just cooked some stuff. And the owner of the property was sitting with you at the table, and I came out and I saw, who the hell is this guy? And you was pretty humble. You know what I mean? The following days you were coming around, and I was like, okay, I don't know who this guy is, but you know, you were pretty humble. That's one thing I can tell you about you. You're not one boasty person.
No,
You're not,
blood.
you're not gonna come in, because you also teach me this. You got to treat everybody the way you want to be treated. You know what I mean? You were friends with the people that most managers or executive chef are not going to be associated to. You know what I mean? All the time people talk to like a lot of these people that you were friends with is when they want something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You and the gardeners were friends. And I mean like friends where you sitting down outside with them like you know what I mean? And it may sound it may sound weird what I'm about to say, but with the places you've been, the people you've cooked for, and the way you carry yourself, it just don't add up. You know what I mean? Because the average person who's done half the stuff that you've done, they would be hype. You know what I mean? They would not want to talk to some people. They would be like, "Oh, you got to make an appointment," that type of vibe. But you were very, very, very calm and relaxed. And you've played a great impact in my life. So I gotta respect you for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, respect, man. You know what the thing is, my brother. That's what I'm saying. You remember when I said to you, it's a God-given right to know certain things.
Right,
if I isolate myself, you have no use for this world. If you just, somebody need to make an appointment, I still have to make enough money to pay the person to take your appointment. It's a joke.
Right. Exactly, so, that's true.
It's not bad. Come on, man. Listen to our bullshit. We didn't grow up like this. You know what I mean?
No.
You know?
No. And just to give the listeners a little bit about you, like I said, you've cooked for numerous celebrities. You actually made my resume very big because with your input and your experience and your presence, I was able to cook for the Rockefellers. You know what I mean? Like, who gets to do that? And you, I'm going to brag about you for a little bit here. He was cooking at the Rockefeller Mansion in New York. They flew him over to make Jamaican food. You know what I mean? He wasn't making London British food. He wasn't making European food or American food. He was making Jamaican food. He went to one of the richest family in the world, and he was cooking Jamaican food for them. You know what I mean? And that's just one of many people who has cooked for P. Diddy. What's her name? Kelly Rowland. Was it Kelly Rowland?
Yeah, she did a birthday in a restaurant in London, you know?
Right. You know, so it's not no regular thing, you know what I mean? He also, like I said about the Netflix, he also, what about that restaurant, the UFO?
Yeah.
In Italy.
My menu.
So you had a menu in that restaurant?
For 1 year, yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of Europe, you know, like, there's no black people there, obviously.
Right.
This was weird. I was on TV there for a very long time because of people couldn't understand. I think even the government was asking in my country, how do you find yourself in them countries, man?
Yeah. It's surprising.
Like,
it's surprising.
Like,
I remember. Hold on. I'm gonna get back to that. I remember when you called me one day and you're like, "Hey, man, I'm going to Dubai." I'm like, "What? What are you going to do in Dubai?" He's like, "Yeah, some guys that want me to come down here and cook." And I'm like, "Okay." And then he went to Dubai for a week, went back to London, and then he told me, "Oh yeah, I'm moving to Dubai." I'm like, "What? This is like." You know, food has brought you a far way, man. Like, you've been around the world, and it's food that brought you around the world, right?
Food is serious. Like, all right, let me give like, I'll give you how the Dubai scenario happened. Like, if a friend is a friend of a friend, we was talking about doing some crazy things with car, and because I figured out how to use my car to run a restaurant, a complete setup. Like, I could literally 8-course meal of using a car, the engine power from a car, everything, So, anything you want to do quirky, you have to go to Dubai.
Right. Definitely.
They're open for everything,
Definitely.
So it's like, so he said, look, I put in connection. So it was a Formula One final race. That's the biggest party, like.
Right, down there.
Basically, they fly me over for this party. They want, so it's like, just to show me around and what's up. So I'm like, okay. When I go there, like, I remember I reached there, was it Saturday or so, or whatever. I don't remember, sometime. And so these boys rent a yacht, the dock at the Formula One, because that's where they stay on the yacht to watch the car go around. So I said to them, like, so what are we eating? Oh, no, we can't cook here because of the fumes from the car and all. Like, so you want to tell me we're going to be on a yacht and no food? I said, man, you're joking. Let's go to the shop. We go down to the supermarket. And this guy, this penthouse, When you look outside, everything is like a dot.
He's so far upside.
Nobody don't cook in these penthouse, man.
Yeah.
Like, so I come up with shape loads of shopping, man. And I start to make canapés. I start to cook food. And the guy look at me like, what the hell is this guy up to? You see, so we drive from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. So that's how I drive, you know? And I have the food taken on the yacht. And I swear to you, on this yacht, everywhere you can find a little space, I have small canapés.
Oh, just placed everywhere.
Placed everywhere. So basically, all the guests was walking and just picking up canapés. And some beautiful girl there pouring champagne. I'm like, and the guy's like, yeah, I'm like, let's open a restaurant. It's like,
oh, just like that.
That was it. They said, well, come on, let's do a restaurant. That's how most things happen.
Right.
No, so I said, so you know me as Jamaica. Yeah, man, no watch nothing. Every time, no watch nothing. When you're ready.
Yeah.
So go back to London. Yeah.
Pastrybear TV. Big up.